For March Madness 2022, I am partnering with BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook. Using the link in the description, you can get a 125% sign-up bonus using the promo code JOIN125. A $100 minimum deposit is necessary. Get in on the action on this NCAA tournament and March Madness season and any other sport in general, and make some money. Get in on the action with BetUS. Before we get started with this video, I want to let you guys know about my Discord server. We're talking college basketball live games, just college basketball in general, bracketology, Q&As, all that stuff. Hit the link in the description to join the Super Celtic 24 Discord server. Sup guys, it's Alex here, and welcome to the second to last Bracketology update of the season, because tomorrow is Selection Sunday, 6 p.m. You guys know I'm going to be trying to, hopefully, I'll be recording the selection show, but whether YouTube lets me upload it, I had some issues last year to where I kept taking it down for copyright issues and all that stuff. But the main tournament predictions video will be coming out probably around 6:30, 6:35 tomorrow, so keep your eyes out for that. But before we get to that, we have today's Bracketology update. For March 12th, it is Championship Saturday for a lot of the major conferences. It is the semifinal round for all the others that are still open. And man, I am just loving Championship Week right now. Yesterday, we had two number one seeds. Actually, no. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was three number one seeds. That's right. We had Indiana upsetting Illinois in a huge win for the Hoosiers. They had to get that win. They got it, and you'll see a little bit down below whenever we get to that. We had Auburn fall to Texas A&M, which I think was probably the most shocking one. I know Auburn was a lot of people's SEC tournament champion predictions, whatever you want to call it. But they just got mauled by Texas A&M. They made it a game there at the end, but they were down by 20 at one point. And then the other one was Creighton upsetting Providence. And it wasn't just an upset. It was a demolition. 85-58 at one point. I think the game was tied. And then Creighton went on a 31-2 run. How do you go on how do you let somebody go on a 31-2 run on you? I don't understand, but we'll get into the bracket and the bubble watch and all that in a second. But before we do that, I want to let you guys know about the 7,777 subscriber giveaway that we're doing. If we hit that benchmark by midnight tomorrow night, I'll give you guys through the tournament predictions video, because usually I get a decent amount of subscribers from that. If we hit 7,777 subscribers by midnight on Sunday night, I will be giving away a first round NCAA tournament ticket. All you got to do to enter is subscribe to the channel, turn those post notifications on, take a screenshot, send it over to @AlexPrice24 on Instagram, and then that's all you really got to do to enter. I'll send you a confirmation message saying like you're entered or something like that, and then I'll announce the winner on March 14th. More information on that is in the description below, so make sure you check that out. Traditional BI is broken, apparently. But going back to the bracketology here, top overall seed is Gonzaga. That's not going to change because Gonzaga already won their conference tournament, and so they're going to be the number one overall seed come Selection Sunday. But then the first team out, Virginia Tech, they have been storming from out of nowhere, basically. They were like the last team that was in the next four out. Then they take down Notre Dame. Then they take down North Carolina last night in a game that wasn't even close. And they pretty much need to win against Duke tonight. But if they win against Duke tonight, they win the automatic bid, so it doesn't even matter. Maybe if they play a really good game against Duke, maybe they'll kind of play their way into the last team in. We'll kind of see what happens. They picked up their second quad one victory of the season, so that helped out a lot last night against North Carolina. So we'll see what happens with that. And then the last team in is Xavier. I don't think Xavier is going to end up making the tournament. We'll see what happens once the actual bracket gets released, but I just don't see that happening. I can't see a world in which Xavier actually makes the tournament. And then scrolling down to the bubble watch here, last four buys are Iowa State. They did enough earlier in the season. They were kind of faltering down the stretch. I can't imagine I'm probably going to have them win a game come NCAA tournament predictions time. Then we have Rutgers, who will probably they'll remain in. Not too worried there. Maybe they'll fall to the last four in, but they're safe for the tournament. Same goes for Notre Dame. And then Indiana, they are still alive right now. I believe they play the 5 seed, I want to say. Iowa. Yeah, Iowa, they beat Rutgers yesterday. So I think it's Indiana and Iowa today in the Big Ten semifinals. So Indiana's pretty much locked into the tournament at this point, but they're just looking to improve their seed, which is that's great for the Hoosiers. They were looking down and out just a week ago even. Last four in are Wyoming, who lost to Boise State last night. Michigan, who is only 3 teams to the good right now. If there's some bid thieves, which I don't think there's that many bid thieves, maybe like Texas A&M coming storming back, Virginia Tech maybe, that sort of thing. St. Louis, I know, is still alive, that sort of thing. But Michigan should still be relatively safe. SMU, kind of same thing. I think they're still alive in their conference tournament. I think it's going to be Houston versus SMU in the title game for that. And then we've already talked about Xavier. Then we have Virginia Tech, the first team out. Oklahoma played their hearts out last night against Texas Tech, but it's not going to be enough for a tournament bid. Wake Forest, it's looking like better teams have a resume. Wake Forest is falling out of the tournament picture. And then you got Dayton. Next we're out is Texas A&M, who has to be... Who are they playing tonight? I know they're playing Arkansas. That's right, because Kentucky and Tennessee are playing. Texas A&M has to beat Arkansas today if they want a chance to make the tournament. Then BYU is not going to make it. VCU got eliminated as well, and St. Louis I think is still in it, but it's going to take a lot for them to get in. But taking a look at the actual bracket, taking a look at some movement, we have Murray State up to an 8, Marquette down to a 9, Kent State new to the field as the automatic qualifier. They're the highest seed remaining in that conference. Boise State is up to a 6. Purdue is up to a 2 as the best team remaining in the Big Ten tournament, where Wisconsin also lost the 2 seed to Michigan State yesterday. SMU is new to the field over there as a 12. LSU is down to a 6 after losing to Arkansas. Indiana is up to an 11. Then at the Midwest Regional, we got UAB new to the field as the 12 since North Texas lost. Then we have Wisconsin down to a 3, Colorado State down to a 7, and Iowa State down to a 10. Then over there in the East Regional, we got Creighton up to a 9 after that destruction of Providence. Houston up to a 5. Michigan down to a 12. And now we got to go to our bracket that we create every time that there's a new Bracketology. I go to vertex42.com, download that Excel template, and then put in these teams based off of Joe Lunardi's new Bracketology. And before we get into the predictions, we got to come up with our 2-word food item of the day. What do we want to pick for the people who are watching at this point in the video and not just skipping to the end for the final 4 predictions and my national champion? You know what? Let's have some fun here. Let's go with a sirloin steak. I am feeling a sirloin steak tonight. Obviously, I'm probably not going to end up getting it, but you never know. We'll see. We'll kind of see how the night goes. Let's go with sirloin steak. If you're watching at this point in the video, comment sirloin steak below so I know you're actually watching this video, not just skipping to the end. But go ahead and starting our predictions off here. We're going to have Gonzaga, obviously beating the winner of that 16 game. Murray State, I do think, will beat Marquette. Rematch of the 2019 first round where we had Marcus Howard versus John Morant. I like Marquette this year. Oh, there's a DoorDash. There's a DoorDash offer. Speaking of sirloin steak, they must have been hearing me talk. I do think that Murray State will win there. I feel bad for Marquette because I really wanted to have them win a first-round matchup. I just don't think it'd happen against Murray State. Texas, I think, can beat South Dakota State. UCLA will beat Kent State. Boise State will beat Notre Dame. Then we're going to go with Tennessee here, moving on past Colgate. San Francisco pulling off the 10-7 upset over USC, and then Purdue beating Georgia State. Then for a spot in the Sweet 16, we got Gonzaga advancing on past Murray State. Then UCLA also with Johnny Juzang and the crew advancing on past Texas. Then Tennessee will beat Boise State, and Purdue will move on past San Francisco. Then for a spot in the Elite Eight, we got Gonzaga beating UCLA in a rematch of one of the greatest games of all time last year in that Final Four. I got Gonzaga advancing on. Then Tennessee and Purdue. This game is a 50-50 in my opinion, but I am going to go with the Purdue Boilermakers advancing on there, which sets up Gonzaga versus Purdue. This is just how bracketology works. Yesterday, I had Purdue in my national championship game just with the way the bracketology worked, but they were not paired up with Gonzaga. I do think that Gonzaga would be able to beat them. I am putting Gonzaga in my final 4 out of that region. So moving on down to the bottom left regional here, Baylor will advance on past the winner, or past Norfolk State. I don't know why I said the winner there. Creighton with their crazy streak. They've been playing really well recently. I got Creighton advancing on there. Then we're going to go with an upset pick here. I'm going to go with Michigan to beat Xavier, and then Michigan to beat Houston. I know that's not really a popular pick based on how Michigan played against Indiana, but I got Michigan advancing on past Houston. Just don't really believe in Houston this year. Arkansas will beat Chattanooga. Then I'm going to go with another upset pick here with Rutgers over Alabama. Both these two teams are pretty inconsistent, not going to lie, but I do think Rutgers has the chops to pull off an upset. We're going to go with Villanova here, moving on past Longwood. Another upset here, Miami, Florida over Ohio State. Ohio State just has not been playing good basketball recently. Miami gave a challenge to Duke all the way up until the end, until Duke pulled away in the last minute of the game. I think Miami could pull off the 10-7 upset, and they will face the winner of Auburn, who will beat St. Peter's. Then for a spot in the Sweet 16, we're going to go with Baylor here advancing on past. Actually, you know what? Let's switch it up. Let's go with a 9 seed. Let's go with the Creighton Blue Jays. They just took out a 1 seed in their conference. Baylor already lost to Oklahoma. Not a good look for them. I think Oklahoma was either 8 or 9 seed as well. Why not have some fun with this bracketology and have the Creighton Blue Jays advancing on the Sweet 16 as a 9 seed over Baylor? Arkansas will beat Michigan. Then I'm going to go with Villanova moving on here past Rutgers, and then Auburn moving on past Miami. So for a spot in the Elite Eight, we are going to go with Arkansas advancing on here past Creighton to the Elite Eight. And then Villanova, I do think that they can beat Auburn. Villanova got a good win over Connecticut yesterday, as I've already talked about Auburn. I think they're like 5-4 in their last 9 games. Not really good look after starting the season like 21-1 or whatever it was. So we have Arkansas and Villanova here, 4 versus 3 for a spot in the Final Four. I am going to go with the Razorbacks of Arkansas, who I think is playing playing the best basketball in the nation right now, really out of any team. So now moving on down to the bottom right regional, we are going to go with Kansas advancing on there past Long Beach State. And we're going to go with San Diego State pulling off the victory over Memphis. I think that either of these two teams can really win that game there. Should be interesting to see what actually happens, but I do think San Diego State's playing really good basketball. Iowa, I do think, can beat UAB. Then we're going to go with a pretty huge upset here with Vermont over Providence. Providence, as I've already mentioned, they got destroyed yesterday. They've been a team that a lot of people have been thinking are pretenders during the year just because of their schedule. And Vermont's one of those teams, mid-major teams that can make some noise in the tournament. I got a 13 seed upsetting a 4 seed. Maybe it's recency bias, but I'm going to have it happening anyway. Then we're going to go with Davidson advancing on past St. Mary's there. I think that one's a 50-50 matchup as well. St. Mary's already proved that they can win against top-tier opponents like Gonzaga. But I do think that Davidson has the chops to pull off an upset. I'm trying to go through it. We got Wisconsin advancing on here past Montana State. Colorado State beating Iowa State, and then Kentucky over Jacksonville State. So for a spot in the Sweet 16, we got Kansas advancing on past San Diego State. Iowa, I do think, will beat Vermont there, and then you got Wisconsin advancing on past Davidson, and Kentucky advancing past Colorado State. Well, then for a spot in the Elite Eight, I'm going to go with another pretty big upset here. I am going to go with 5 seed Iowa pulling off the upset over Kansas. Iowa has been playing out of their minds on offense recently, and they got a Player of the Year contender in Keegan Murray. I mean, Kansas has one of their own in Abaji, but I think that Iowa could surprise a lot of people here and pull off the upset of the 1 seed. I got them advancing on to face Kentucky, which could have been a revenge game with C.J. Frederick transferring over to Kentucky, but he got injured right as the season started for Kentucky. But for a spot in the actual Final Four, I got the Wildcats of Kentucky beating Iowa there and advancing on to the Final Four. So moving on to our last region, we have Arizona advancing on past the winner of Wright State and Bryant. Then we're going to go with TCU beating Seton Hall. Connecticut beating the winner of Wyoming and SMU, which I think would be Wyoming. Illinois beating Princeton. Then we're going to go with Indiana pulling off the 11-6 over LSU. I'd love to see that. Then we got Texas Tech advancing on past New Mexico State. Michigan State's playing really good basketball recently. I think they'll beat Loyola Chicago. And then Duke will beat Delaware. Then for a spot in the Sweet 16, we got Arizona beating TCU. Connecticut pulling off the 5-4 victory over Illinois. Texas Tech beating Indiana to advance to the Sweet 16. And I'm going to go with another upset pick there. I'm going to go with the Spartans beating Duke. Michigan State just beat Wisconsin yesterday. Duke, while they did beat Miami, Florida, they've been not really looking like they can pull away and just make a run in the tournament. I'm going to go with an upset pick there. It's probably not going to be very popular, but I got Michigan State advancing on past Duke, which sets up an Elite Eight matchup of maybe, or I guess we'll get to that in a second. Sweet 16, Arizona, Connecticut. I got Arizona advancing on there past Connecticut. Texas Tech and Michigan State. I have Texas Tech advancing on there. Arizona versus Texas Tech for a spot in the Sweet 16. As much as I want to pick the Red Raiders of Texas Tech, I got to go with Arizona. They've been playing really good recently, and I got to give them the respect they deserve. So we have a Final Four of 2 number 1 seeds, a 2 seed, and then a 4 seed in Arkansas. I think that's a pretty good mixture for our Final Four. Up first for a spot in the national championship, I do have to go with the Razorbacks of Arkansas. Actually, I don't have to, but I do believe in them a lot this year. Be interesting to see if they can keep their run through the SEC tournament looking strong. But with Arkansas's been in Gonzaga's region for the last few bracketologies, and I've been picking Arkansas every single time to beat them, why not keep it going right now? They will face the winner of Arizona and Kentucky, rematch of that 1997 title game where Arizona freaking beat Kentucky. I got Kentucky getting revenge there. I felt like, what is that, 25 years later or something like that. But Kentucky, I do think, is the better team. I think they'll advance to the national championship, which sets up an all-SEC national championship game between Arkansas and Kentucky. And I am going to go with actually, you know what? I'll switch it up. I'll go with the Arkansas Razorbacks, pulling off the victory against Kentucky. They did beat Kentucky earlier this season at Bud Walton Arena. It'll be interesting to see. I do think that matchup is going to be what happens in the SEC tournament, so I'm very interested to see if that happens tomorrow and what kind of happens with that. But why not have Arkansas? They're one of the hottest teams in the nation. Got J.D. Note, Jalen Williams, and you got one of the most hyped coaches in college basketball, Eric Musselman, leading the charge. Why not have some fun in the second to last bracketology of the year and have 4-seed Arkansas winning it all? So there we have it. Those are my predictions for the NCAA tournament based off of today's bracketology. Thank you guys for watching. Really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of my prediction in the comment section below. Let me know your own predictions as well. We'll have some great basketball on the schedule today. Really looking forward to that. And I will see you all later.